Yo, it is your host, DLC, and welcome back to another episode of the Lions Club. Y'all already know, if it ain't a vibe, we ain't going live. I got a special guest up in here today, another comedian in the St. Louis gang. Um, we're going to go ahead and tap into it and just go ahead and introduce her. Sitting across from me is Ronni Jay. She's a stand-up comedian who has 2 years in the game with no plans of stopping or slowing down. She has produced two sold-out shows and is currently working on a third. She's killing it locally and plans to take her talent beyond the stages of St. Louis. You can follow her on all social media platforms under comedian Ronni Jay. How you doing, Miss Ronni Jay?
I'm doing good. Good.
You had a good day today? I always ask my people that.
Yes, it's the last day of school.
You a
I got
teacher?
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a teacher's aide for special school district.
Oh, that's
So
dope.
I had a chance to return these students back to their parents for the summer.
Oh, I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
how did you get into that?
I ended up getting into that. I started off as a sub, and I got into that because my youngest son has autism. And when the pandemic happened in 2020, I had to take over both of my children's homeschooling. But with him, especially with him being recently diagnosed with autism right before the pandemic hit, I had to dive into not only the academics, but the therapies that he was doing. Because at that time, he was doing physical therapy, he was doing occupational therapy, speech therapy, and all that. So I ended up having to be really hands-on with that part of his academics. And so me having that experience with him and being hands-on with him and seeing like the milestones and the confidence that he gained with each and every milestone, I'm like, okay, I think I might want to look into doing this. So so 2022, I became a sub first. I was a substitute teacher's aide, working with special needs children. And then close to the end of last year, I got hired on with SSD.
Hey, shout out to
So-
you. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how do you like it? Like, just to be with all the kids and stuff?
Yeah, I love what I do. I love my babies, all of them, the good ones, the bad ones. I really love what I do. I don't. Yeah, I guess it's true what they say. Find something that you love to do, and you'll never work a day in your life, or you won't. It doesn't feel like work.
Yes, ma'am. So can you share like probably one of the best times you'd have had being a teacher versus the worst?
Let me see. Best times. It's hard to pick a specific one, but I would say the best times that I have is when they reach different milestones on certain things. Those be the best moments, especially dealing with our nonverbal students, where you see where they were at the beginning of the school year, and then you get towards the end of the school year where they're doing more without being prompted to. Like that, those are the best moments for me in doing that. Let me see. The worst, I would say, when you have those days when because it's moments when some students might have meltdowns for whatever reason. It could be because one small thing changed in their routine. And the worst times is when it just seemed like it just seemed like they just got together. It was like, okay, we all gonna have a meltdown today. Like I've had days like that where it seemed like every single student had a meltdown, and it could be one small thing that changed in their routine that could just throw them off.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. We may come back to that. But I want to know, how did you come up with your stage name, Ronni Jay?
Let me see. I came up with my stage name. So really, I was supposed to start comedy in 2020, but of course the pandemic hit. Everywhere was closed. And at the time I had locks. So at first, my stage name was going to be Ronni with the locks. I was trying to go for like what Cardi B did in the one song where she was like Cardi with the braids. I'm like Ronni with the locks. Well, of course, finally when I started comedy, cut the locks off, so I can't call myself Ronni with the locks. That don't make sense. But the first name, I just shocked somebody with this recently. My nickname has never been Ronnie. Never. I have a deceased cousin. Her name was Sharonda. Her nickname was Ronnie. And so, like, I kind of took on their first name to kind of keep her, kind of keep her name alive.
Yeah.
Took on their first name, and I took the E off of it. And then, of course, Jay. My last name is Jones, but I just did Jay. And
Oh, so it's paying respects to her. That's dope.
Yeah.
I love that. So how did you get into comedy?
Let me see. Before I did comedy, I did poetry.
Oh, okay.
And I got this one poem that was real funny that a lot of people like called Dick and Bubblegum.
I'm weak. Wow.
Called Dick and Bubblegum. And it was then like a lot of people was telling me like, no, poetry, you cool with your poetry, but you're a comedian. And people have been telling me that for years. I'm like, no, like, I mean, I'm funny, but it's like a lot of times when I was trying, I could just be talking and not trying to be funny, and people would be like, yeah, you need to be a comedian. And so 2022, I just finally decided to go ahead and try it out. The first person that gave me a chance was Crazy Taser Lady. She had a show. It was like a show / pop-up shop or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I seen that, it was a comedy show. And, reached out to her. She never heard me do anything. I hadn't done anything yet. But she went ahead and, let me get on the platform, let me get on. And I started from there and just been going ever since.
So how was that first time? Did you do good? Or?
The first time, I did okay for my first time.
What you did, 5 minutes?
I wasn't expected for it to be perfect because I never done it.
Right, exactly.
But I'm trying to think, how much time did I do? It wasn't a long time. I think it might have been about 5 or 6 minutes or so. But I mean, I did okay for it to be my first time. But of course, I had to learn like the different things as far as like, writing and making it have a certain flow, but I did okay for my first time.
Oh, me, absolutely. Because a lot of people wouldn't even did it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to commend you for that. I seen that you signed up for the STL Helium competition.
Yeah.
So have you did it before or no?
I did it last year. Mm-hmm. And I didn't make it past the preliminary round. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like on the fence about if I was going to sign up for it this year, so I went ahead and signed up for it. And so I'll be there on June 19th.
June 19th.
For the preliminary.
Yeah. I got, my day is July 16th. I'm doing it too.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you signed up.
Yeah, I'm under DLC. That's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen you.
You seen him?
Yeah, I seen your name.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been in it the last 2 years. I ain't made it past the first round either. So, I mean, shoot, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
But the second time, it was my fault. I'll take. Somebody bought me a drink. I was feeling myself. I ain't even gonna fake it. And then you get the free drink too that they give you.
Yeah.
And then the drink that my homie gave me was light, so I mixed. It was just like,
oh man,
somebody said you look like you was too ready. I was, but it's all good. So you recently just had an event called Healed Girl Summer on May 25th. What was that event about?
Okay, so of course that wasn't a comedy related event, but I wanted to have that event, to bring women together in a positive space. Talk about the things that we need to heal from. Mm-hmm. A lot of, I know it's a lot of people, myself included, we operate a certain way, in our lives based on, like, past traumas, unhealed traumas, and things like that. So I just wanted to create a space, for women to, like, really actually, talk about some things that they might need to be healed from. I talked about some things because I was supposed to have 3 speakers. One of my speakers had to back out of it, so I just put myself in as the first speaker. And so some of the things that I talked about with myself was like my failed marriage, the aftermath the aftermath of that. Because I had a baby during that time. I already had an 8-year-old at the time, and then I had my youngest son. You know, talking about my marriage, talking about the aftermath of it, talking about how I had to move in with family members after I had my baby, the dark place that I was in as far as my mental health at that time, which I was in a horrible place to the point where I started drinking excessively because a lot of people that I run into, especially like in the comedy circle or wherever, they know that I don't drink, but they don't know why I don't drink. I stopped drinking in October of 2021. So I'm coming up on 3 years of, being alcohol free. But I talk about, how I started excessively drinking, trying to, I guess, get over the trauma of the failed marriage and the things that happened as a result of that. And, where I came to the point where I was just done with drinking and, and all that stuff like that. Because in addition to the drinking, I gained a lot of weight. I went from 170 pounds to 240. Like, just, because I was just really messed up. I was drinking, I was eating a lot, Dang. And all that. But I've come a long way from that because, I had a lot of work I had to do. I had to go to therapy. I had to do partial hospitalization, for my mental health.
Wow.
Because it took a huge toll on my anxiety and, just my mental health overall.
I'm great. I applaud you for creating a space for people to share their story. Because that's deep.
Yeah, because a lot of times, one thing that I find is a lot of times somebody will sit up and they'll ask us, hey, how you doing? And then, we'll get that standard answer, good, how are you, or whatever. And we know deep down inside, we really tore the hell up, but we'll look somebody in the face and, tell that person that we're okay when we're really not. Like, when my marriage went down the way that it did, that was the first time in my life that I had to admit that, I wasn't okay. I couldn't cover it up.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, how long was you married?
We wasn't married that long. We were together for 2 years. We got married November 2013. We found out shortly after getting married that I was pregnant. And then January 2014, he left me. We separated.
Wow. And then what you say? How long did it take you to recover from that?
I would say 7 years. It took.
It take a minute.
And it might sound like a long time, but the thing is, especially in certain situations, healing from certain things, it's not a microwave thing. Some things take time. And with the space that I was in, where like I couldn't find joy in anything, trying to fix it every other way, but the right way, it took some time.
Yeah, I never been married, but my mama was married, and she went through a divorce, and that just, like you said, it take a minute. Like, it rocked the whole family, and it took about 5-6 years, so it do take time.
Yeah, because especially, when you go in with the mindset of, you're getting married, and to death do you part. Like, I didn't have no plans on, divorcing. Like, when I said I do, I meant it. Like, I'm like, didn't no damn body die? Like, come on, like, this ain't what I signed up for. Like, I meant this.
Yeah, real talk. Wow. So you just did The Last Laugh. Was that May 25th too?
That was May 24th.
May 24th, my
day
fault.
Before.
How was that?
That was cool. It was that was in Bloomington, Illinois.
Where that's at? I ain't even gonna lie.
So I want to say it's like a little ways before you get to Chicago, because it was about a 2.5 hour drive from St. Louis. But it was cool. Other than I thought the show was gonna turn into a bar fight for a minute,
Man.
because one of the audience members was, he had quite a bit to drink, and then he got to doing too much, messing with one of the audience members. I mean, one of the comedians, because like before the show, I was talking to a few people there, and the one guy that was like doing too much. It was another comedian that came in. He introduced himself or whatever, and and then he was talking about saying that he has autism or whatever. So when the guy walked away, the one guy that was doing too much, he said to me, he was like, "Oh yeah, you gonna rock this. You can win this because he a retard." And I was like, I try to shift the conversation because I'm looking like,
Right.
Like I'm all about like talking shit and all that, but when it comes to stuff like that, no.
Yeah, I feel you.
No. And so like when the guy was on the stage, I can't remember what he was talking about, but the guy in the audience called him a retard from the audience or whatever, and then like other audience members, they didn't like what the other guy in the audience was doing, and then it was this one black chick, she was like, cause what we not gonna do. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, you know where this going.
Yeah. When you hear she turned around, what we not gonna do. I'm like, man, I hope he shut up.
Yeah.
Cause I don't want to drive all the way down here and then we gotta get put out.
Right.
Like, man.
I think one of my first times like ever seeing you was at a bar. What that bar? The Spot. Like this was like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was just
tapping
starting out.
Oh really?
For real.
Oh wow. That's crazy. Do you like doing bars? Like how you feel between a bar and like a club or like because the heavy anchor a little different though.
Yeah.
Cause since it got that space, but like how you feel about doing like bars and stuff?
I mean bars are cool. I know some people can't get used to the bars and how, like, some people, they'll just be at the bar talking and whatever as if a show ain't going on. And, I mean, I don't really trip off of it because I'm like, that's on them. They paid to come to a show and not listen.
Right.
I mean, they paid.
Right.
So, that's on them. I'm going to keep on telling these jokes to the ones that's listening.
I heard that. Hold on. I heard that. Comments saying being in a dark place can really make a person do and deal with people that means absolutely no good for you. It also makes you do silly things you'll never do in a million years. God is good. Amen to that.
Yeah. Because let me just say this, like, when I was drinking the way that I was, like before then, I didn't drink like that. I was more of a, social
drinker,
occasional drinker. So it was like during that moment in my life, it built and built and built and went from social drinking to a bottle every Friday to this one job that I was working where it was other drinkers and we on break, we throwing back shots on break on the job on the job premises, and it just it built and built and built.
Well, shout out to you for having the self-awareness that you was like, you know what, I don't like this.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. So did you go cold turkey or did you do it in moderation? Well, you cold turkey now.
So during the pandemic, we all know it wasn't that much to do. Everything was shut down, so a lot of people was going to liquor stores and just sitting at home drinking. Where with me, I did the opposite. I cut down a whole lot on my drinking during the pandemic. Of course, my kids at home all the time, having to do homeschooling, so that was, part of it. And then, started praying more, started meditating during that time. And then the decision was finally made to just stop it completely in October of 2021. But it was some challenges after that because just like I was saying in my last event, right after I made that decision to stop drinking, a week later I get a call from my sister in Memphis telling me that my father was diagnosed with cancer. And at that time I wasn't knowing, how bad it was or, anything like that. And then like a month later he passed away. And so it was like, when I say that was so challenging
I was gonna say
because we all know we have different reasons and different occasions that we drink on, and when somebody dies, one of them.
that. Mm-hmm.
So it was like this was my first time ever in life, not having a drink for something like that, and it was really hard because like I didn't want to go back to it. And then crazy thing about it was like also during that time it was around the holidays. I really didn't want to go to any functions. For one thing, my father just passed away. Like I'm not caring about Christmas. Y'all don't have to give me anything. I really don't care.
Right.
So went to my sister's house for a function, and they had sodas and stuff. I don't drink soda. I'm like, do you have any water? I'm like, no. And then they bring out, I don't know if it was Seagrams or it was some kind of alcoholic something in a can. And I just happened to look at the can. I'm like, this has alcohol in it. And somebody was like, oh, it's just 0.5%. I'm like, I just stopped drinking.
Right.
Like,
The temptations was real.
like
Huh?
why would you give me this? I'm like, okay, I'm going to just go home.
Right.
This is too much.
Yeah. Best and worst experience on stage.
Let me see. Best experience. Let me see. I've had a lot of good moments. I would say, I can't name a particular one for the best because I've had a lot of good moments. But the best moments be when somebody that's been following me ever since I started this, and they see where I'm at now. When they come up to me and let me know like, hey, I really see the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. Or whatever, because I tell people this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And this ain't easy
Yeah.
at
Facts.
all.
Facts.
At all.
38. What about your worst experience on stage?
Let me see. Worst experience. Oh. I was at STL on the Rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And STL Slim, he was hosting like a Apollo type of deal or whatever. It wasn't just comedy. It was, all different talents.
Yeah.
So he was hosting that, and I signed up to do that. And I ended up getting booed.
Oh, damn.
And it was like, it's crazy because I was almost done with my set.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what was so weird about it. I was almost finished. But I don't know if it was because of the joke that I was telling that some people wasn't feeling. Because I think the joke that I was telling was about how they shouldn't have gender reveal parties. They should have baby daddy reveal parties. And so it just seemed like after I said it was like, boom! I was like, well, damn it, I was almost done.
You triggered some people with that one.
Like, dang. But we really need to do that. That's more important.
Yeah, right.
You had the gender reveal, and like I said, child turn around 18 years later and have a re-gender reveal on you, because now they going to, you know what I'm saying, they changed it.
Yeah.
Like, we need to know who the daddy is. That child might need a kidney, a liver, or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. Not they did you like that. But, I mean, that come with it, though. You
Yeah.
know, you going to have them moments.
Yeah.
I bet it didn't discourage you from, like, have you ever had to deal with a heckler at all?
Like I've had people to say things in the audience while I'm on stage, and I talk back to them, but I never had like nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened in Bloomington to the guy. I've never had anything like that.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Side question away from comedy. Your posts be very interesting. Like, do you just what's that? Like, you just be.
And see that's what made a lot of people start saying that I needed to do comedy. I don't know. I just be thinking of stuff.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'll be like, wow. That's crazy. Let's see. So who would be your top 3 comedians in the game? Like, if anybody you didn't like been inspired from that you didn't, who didn't, What I'm trying to say.
You see, top three, I would say Adele Givens. Let's see, what's her name? Dominique, and some more.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
Huh?
I said I'm gonna have to do some research.
What, Dominique?
On all three.
On all three? Oh.
Like, on all three. Like I just know, not. I don't want to say the big names, but like, you know, Cad, Dave. Like all are they like? I don't want to say. Are they like in the middle grain or is they like?
No, they all the way up there because I think all three of them got their start on Def Comedy Jam because that was where I first seen Adele Givens when I was growing up on Def Comedy Jam. Such a fucking lady.
Yeah, I remember when I seen Chris Tucker on there, I thought he should have stuck with that, but on Def Comedy Jam.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to do my research on them because I think that's the first time I ain't like heard them three names.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so serious. I like to be hip because everybody got their different type of style.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, how would you describe your style of comedy?
I think I would describe it as relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a lot of things that's relatable as far as like parenthood, dating, you know, different stuff like that. So I definitely say that it's relatable to a lot of people.
Yeah. How do people react when you tell them that this is your job as a comedian?
It's almost always the same reaction, especially if they never seen me on stage. If they just see me like off stage, like co-workers, different people, like they're shocked when they find out because I be telling people like me on stage and me just walking around or whatever is two different things. It's two different things. This is I'm deep down inside. I'm really an introvert. This the most extroverted thing I've ever done with my life. I never would have thought I would have been doing this much peopling ever.
Right. I feel you in my soul with that one. Seriously. Like, I was just telling Javon last week. As a kid, I didn't talk, like, to nobody, not even my family. Like, I was just in my little space. So the fact that I'm, like, interviewing people, asking them questions, just getting to know them, learning their story, I never thought. So it's just interesting where life will take you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. You already answered that. How do you feel about the comedy industry in general?
Let me see. In general,
Like things you like, things you don't like, stuff like that.
I like that you could be versatile with it. Like, I had my first experience with improv back in April.
I was gonna ask about that, but I mean, go ahead.
So pretty much with that show, I'm trying to think. The theme for the show was like, so you're thinking about having children or being a parent or something like that. And so had the storytellers. So I was one of the storytellers. So the storytellers were pretty much, you know, people who were already parents and, you know, telling stories from their experience with parenthood. And then once you get done telling your story, then an improv team come up and kind of like act out your story. And that was really fun.
Oh, so how many people? Hey, I ain't never heard of nothing like that. So how many people like acted out your story? Like what they do?
Let me see. I think it was 3 people. And it was really funny because in my story I was talking about how, you know, how my children fight. I have 2 sons, so, you know, they typical boys. You know how they fight. Yep. How I just let them fight, you know, as long as they don't break anything. And talk about how I'm getting called bruh. Oh my God. Bruh.
Every other word, bruh.
All the time. And so the guys that acted it out, they did it like it was like a boxing match. between the two sons and had the announcer, and instead of them referring to me as mom, they was like man, we gotta be careful. We don't want to break anything because bruh is gonna be mad.
Right.
It was hilarious.
I wouldn't mind going to something like that just to see how like improv work and stuff like that. What's the number one item on your bucket list?
Number one item on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm. Like
What?
what is a big goal of Ronni Jay's that you want to accomplish?
Let me see. Big goal. One of my biggest goals. I would love to get on at the comedy Shadow in L.A.
I was gonna say, what's that comedy? Is that like?
It's a comedy club.
Is it like Kill Tony or no?
Huh?
Is it like Kill Tony? You know what Kill Tony is?
Mm-mm.
It's like comedians. They be like on this board. It's a podcast, a quote unquote live podcast, even though they like film it a week before.
Mm-hmm.
And like all these comedians, it's in Texas. All these comedians get like, they put their name in a bucket, and some people been in there like 10 months straight, still like never got their name pulled. It's just a lot of people, and everybody get a minute on stage.
1 minute.
At 1 minute, crazy. You better hit your best joke.
I'm about to say.
But after you do it, you get interviewed for 5 minutes. So Tony then like, hey, you want to come on tour with me to like people da da da. Some people like it, some people don't, because they like, how you gonna send somebody on the tour for doing 1 minute and you ain't see them further than that 1 minute?
But people don't realize you know, what you could do that short of a time can say a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Too though.
It could.
It could say a lot.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. So you actually, I remember you hosted. You had your own event back in February around Valentine's Day. I was gonna slide to that, but I almost died that weekend. I was sick. I ain't gonna fake it. Staying at home. I had to leave work and everything. Cause that's when I first met Rachel, and I wanted to come support y'all. But how was that? How did that end up turning out? Like, too much sauce.
Oh yeah, that turned out real good. Because one thing about like my first show that I did, it was Mother's Day weekend, 2023, and I had put that show together because like, you know, Mother's Day weekend, that's a big weekend. Valentine's Day, big weekend. I ain't get booked yet. So I was like, well, let me put something together. Didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, put those shows together because I didn't get booked yet. And like with the My Funny Valentine show, at first I was going to host it, and then I was going to have my lineup. And then I decided to have Shantae Love to host it because she's really good, you know, at hosting, you know, and all that. So I'm like, okay, let me switch this around, have her to host it, and then put myself as at the end of it, you know, headlining for it. Yeah. And so like, I'm glad that I did that because like a week later, the show that I was on a week later, I ended up being the headliner by default because the headliner didn't show up for whatever reason. And then I ended up headlining for the Best Medicine comedy show at the Cola Lounge in March. So I was like, okay, I made the right decision in switching that stuff around, kind of like, you know, preparation.
Oh yeah,
without even knowing that that was gonna happen.
How you like doing that type of crowd, like the Best Medicine type of crowd? Like,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, you can't go wrong with, you know, trying to make people who, you know, that's high laugh. Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was packed in there, that night. But that show was fun. You know, was a great experience because that was my first time actually being hired to headline a show.
Oh really?
Yeah. And so like everything, everything was good with that. It was a good lineup. Audience was cool.
High and relaxed. Yeah, because I be like, when people be high, like sometimes they might not get it, or it might take a second. Everything be delayed. So I was just curious on that. Let's see. So if money wasn't a factor, what would you do with your time fully?
I mean, of course, comedy. I'll, I'll do that full time.
Full time.
Do a lot of traveling.
Where is the place that you want to go? Because I know you say you're trying to expand outside of St. Louis. Like, what's on your market besides LA? I know you said LA.
I want to get down to Texas because it seems like it's a lot going on in Texas as far as comedy too. So I definitely want to get down there. I've really been trying to get on some of these festivals, these comedy festivals, but it's hard to get into them things because you gotta send a clip or whatever, I guess, as a audition or all that. But it just seems like it's hard to get in there. I'm like, I'm wondering like if they wanted somebody with more clean comedy or if it's just not time yet.
Right.
But I've been wanting to get in on one of them festivals, one of the comedy festivals, like Flyover, or, something like that.
Fly over?
Yeah, it's one here that be in St. Louis, I think, in November called Flyover Comedy Festival. I tried to get on that one last year, but I ain't make the cut. I ain't make the cut for it.
So is it comedian, like do they go to different states and like just do festivals, or is it like comedians from everywhere?
Yeah, it's different. It's a lot of different comedy festivals all over. All over the place. Some of them they have stand up and improv, sketch, and some of it is just stand up.
Gotcha. What do people misunderstand the most about you?
See, what do people misunderstand the most about me? I know one thing that people keep all like getting wrong is like they be saying that I don't like for people to touch me. I'm like, no, that is not what I said. I said I don't like when y'all come up from behind me and hug me or touch me because I want to see who the hell touch me. I be ready to, I be,
defense.
Be having to catch myself. Yeah. Like don't come from behind. Come around. Make yourself known. Like don't do that.
I feel you though. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. I'm weak. What surprised you the most when you first started comedy?
What surprised me the most? I think what surprised me the most was like the one thing that I came across in the beginning was like when people found out that I did comedy in the beginning, they would reach out to me to to like do events, like private events or things like that. And at that time it don't surprise me now, but at that time it surprised me that they think that you're supposed to do their events for free.
What? Oh, not that one. There you go. What?
For free. Like I had one guy, he was asking me about doing some comedy for like the intermission of some fashion show that he was doing. And so he was telling me, I think the time was like 30 minutes. Well, at that time I was just starting off, so I really didn't have nowhere near 30 minutes. If I had to come up with 30 minutes, I would.
Yeah.
But and he was asking me how much I charge, and so of course I reached out to my mentor because it's like at that time I didn't really like know what answer to give.
I feel you.
As far as like what to charge, especially I'm just starting out, and so I reached back out to him with a price, and then he inboxed me back talking about some well I'll get back to you because I'm waiting to hear back from somebody else. I'm like, oh, yeah, you wait to hear back from somebody that's gonna do it for free. That's what That's what you. That's what you doing. Like, no, but yeah, people really don't think they have to pay.
Like it's your time. Like they just think everything a favor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on, at least compensate you, girl. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I had something happen where somebody invited me to their event at the last minute, and I went on ahead and when I wasn't doing anything, and then I get there and it was like a vision board party or something, and everybody talking, gluing their stuff on the poster board and all that, and then the lady that was like hosting the event put me on the spot. Talking about, oh yeah, Ronnie, why don't you get up and tell some jokes? I'm like, lady, you did not book me.
She tried to slide that in there. Huh?
I'm like, oh baby, no,
Uh-huh.
no, we did not talk about this at all.
Oh man, they be trying it.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you could share with the listeners? It could be in comedy, it can be in life in general, just whatever.
One piece of advice, and I always say this all the time, is it's never too late for you to do what you want to do as long as you're still breathing. When I decided to start doing comedy, I was 39 years old. 39, I'm about to be 41 this year. And it's been a few times, throughout the journey where I was kind of doubting, especially, at the age that I'm at now, because I'm looking at, other people that's starting out a whole lot younger, and once they get to my age, they might, they'll have 10 or however many years in, but now, I don't worry about that. I believe in timing, God's timing. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been ready. People have been telling me for years that I need to do this, and I didn't believe it. So I wouldn't have been ready 10 years ago. So no matter how old you are, it's never too late. Absolutely. Whatever it is you want to do.
That was deep. Especially, I just really love that you did that Hill Girl Summer, because that was dope. Just giving people a safe space just to tell their story, and everybody heal with each other.
Yeah, because I mean, that's something that's really needed. And I was glad to be able to tell my story, because you'll be surprised to find out that your story is somebody else's story. Somebody might be, and it just so happened it was a lady at the event that I talked to at the event that was going through, something similar, going through a divorce, and she was doubtful about life after divorce and all this stuff. And it was like I was looking at that lady, and it became emotional, because it was like looking in the mirror. It was like me seeing myself 10 years ago, because I remember being there.
Right. That's real though. That's really what it is. Like, it was just real. Like, you know how everybody try to put up, like you said, them walls and stuff. It's like, nah, let's be real with each other, and let's just heal. Cause nobody want to be. They say misery love company, but y'all need to get up out of that company. Yeah. Seriously. Well, we only got a couple minutes left, and I still got to give away these Battlehawks tickets or whatnot that I'm doing for the Lions Club. So I put everybody's name on this wheel. I'm gonna just do this real quick. Shout out to the people who want to, just go to the game or whatnot. I know we ain't got no NFL team no more, so this is the best we got. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna just spin the wheel, and good luck to everybody. Oh, shout out to Sign Cookie. That's my homegirl, Andrea. Shout out to you. I will contact you after the show and send you over everything. That's crazy. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm glad we got that's done and over with. Hope you have a good time. So, Ronni Jay, any closing remarks? Anything else you want to share with the world? Let the people know.
We said a lot. Well, I mean, I just want you all to know that because I just had the Hill Girl Summer, May 25th. So I'm Yeah, I'm gonna bring that back around next year. I wasn't sure exactly like what I was gonna do with it, or really which direction I was gonna go as far as doing it, or even if I was gonna keep it going after this. But like I said, it's something that's very much needed. So that's definitely gonna be something that I bring back around. Bring back around next year. Make sure you all follow me on social media, all platforms. Comedian Ronni Jay. I do have a show coming up June 21st at the Crack Fox downtown. I believe that show started at 8, if I'm not mistaken. But make sure that you follow me on social media so you can keep up with any and everything that I'm doing. I'm already working on my third show. Don't know what day I'm going to decide to do that. I'm the type of person, I work it out in my head first, then it's a process. I don't know if it's a Virgo thing, but it's a process.
I was like, so you did what you say, Mother's Day thing, Valentine's Day? Is it gonna be another theme related type vibe?
I was thinking maybe Halloween. Maybe Halloween. I don't know. We'll see.
No, me. I just gonna have to tune in and find out. Well, I know you said it at the beginning of the show, but your Helium Day, what is that again?
June 19th.
June 19th. Come see
on
Ronni.
Juneteenth.
Yeah. So you gotta go crazy.
Yeah.
For the culture.
For the culture, for the ancestors.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So I wish you nothing but success, Ronni Jay.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Lions Club. This episode is called "Comedy is Healing" because it really is, man. I really love comedy. It's just so many different aspects that you can take and with it. So I appreciate y'all. We'll be back again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Come and tap in and let's have a good time. So with that being said, bye.